I would now like to invite Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Tiruchirappalli. Previously, Sir has served as the Director of Management Development Institute, Gurugram, Director in charge of Indian Institute of Management, Indore, and Chairperson of the Academic Committee of IIM Sambalpur. Sir is a PhD in Management with a post-graduation in Economics as well as in Personal Management and Industrial Relations. He has guided research, provided consultancy, and trained personnel of all levels from diverse professions. Sir also has a range of published work, including books and research articles in various languages, and he has presented various academic papers in national and international seminars. We would now like to request Sir to address the gathering.
Thank you. Namaskar, Vanakkam, good morning. Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi Ji, Dean Corporate Relations and Faculty Affairs of IIM Tiruchirappalli, Professor P. Sarmanji, respected guests of Machinery of Governance of Tamil Nadu, guest speakers representing leadership with marvelous achievements in industry and various organizations, dear faculty colleagues and excellent team of the staff of the Institute, think point of Daksha series of conclave, Professor Abhishek Ji, the team Daksha, guests from media, the promise for the future of India and the world, our lovely students, all guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is our honor having received Honorable Governor of our beautiful state, Tamil Nadu, in our promising campus, having dynamism in action and tranquility within the self. The Indian Institute of Management, Tiruchirappalli, founded in 2011 under the auspices of Ministry of Education, Government of India. The Institute has flourished by placing a strong emphasis on achieving excellence and fostering meaningful partnership with the corporate sector. The commitment to quality has earned IIM Tiruchirappalli the prestigious accreditation from the Association of MBAs. Tiruchirappalli is a city renowned for its contributions to education, spirituality, art and culture, provides an advantageous backdrop for this institution. The institute is able to leverage the city's rich culture and educational environment to its advantage. Daksha 2.0 means this is the second year of Daksha, having been organized today, is designed to bring together some of the most influential leaders from across industries to share their experiences, ideas, and perspectives. The central theme for this edition is leadership in the age of disruption. It focuses on the challenges put forward by a disruptive environment of ever-changing business practices. The discussions will revolve around how successful leaders navigate these challenges by adopting agility, fostering creativity, and leading their organizations and individuals. The leadership thoughts are contextual and leadership wisdom are perennial and time-tested. I would like to share some time-tested wisdom of leadership on this August occasion. The first point is that leaders are necessarily twice born. A manager may be once born, leader is necessarily twice born. When Harvard Business Review used the term of Sanskrit, Dvij means twice born, then in India we made this concept popular. Otherwise, this concept is there available in our country for thousands of years. Now, what is the meaning of the second birth? First birth we get through the womb of mother, and the second birth a leader necessarily has to take from his own or her own endeavor. And that is a painful process. But as Viktor Frankl said, that there is no progress without pain. There is no growth without pain. So some pains we should invite. Some pains are auspicious and leaders should invite them. Second point I would like to say is a small sutra, Sudu Nisphalam Chintanam. A leader has to always think about Su, Du, Nishphalam, Chintanam. Su means Suphalam, Du means Dushphalam, and Nisphalam means Nisphalam. Suphalam means giving auspicious result, and Nishphalam means giving inauspicious result. And Dushphalam means inauspicious result, and Nishphalam means it is a barren activity. There is no fertility in your action. So a leader has to think before putting any endeavor that whether my action will take to auspicious result or inauspicious result or no result. The third sutra I'd like to share is about leader, that leader is necessarily an original person. I always say to my students that it is better to be a bit defective original copy than to be a perfect 8th carbon copy. So the sutra says, Mahajano yen gatah sapantha, because there is no highway prepared for any individual for effective leadership. Necessarily every individual has to build one's pathway only. For leadership, only pathway has to be created, no highway is available. The second last sutra which in my sharing would be that just 3-4 days back we celebrated the birthday of Tulsidas, and he says that leaders should not speak sugar-coated words for 2 reasons, out of fear and out of greed. So the sutra would be a bit twisted based on Ramcharitmanas, that leader priya na bolahi bhai aas. A leader is one who never speaks sugar-coated words because he is fearful or she is fearful or one is greedy. And last point would be rotating around this topic, leadership in the age of disruption. Now disruption prima facie appears to be a very disturbing word, but no. Our life becomes very meaningful once we understand the scheme of the things around. Actually everything is disruptive. In 7 years, our 35 trillion cells of the body get changed, and actually we acquire new body at the cycle of 7 years. So every day millions of cells are changing in your physical body, and we are not the same person now who entered in this room at 10 o'clock. So many changes have taken place. Disruption is going on. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Brahma the creator, Vishnu the nurturer, and Mahesh the creative destructor. Actually these all three are a phenomenon which is happening at the same point of time. These all three are not different concepts. So disruption basically is the way, that the scheme of things. Once we accept it, either in context of organization or in context of any endeavor or in context of society or life, perhaps we settle to these issues. Long back, 2600 years back, Gautam Buddha said, Sabbe Sankhara Anicchati, Yaya Payyaya Pashyati. In this Pali-based sutra it is said, Yaya Payyaya, Payyaya means Pragya, Pashyati means jo dekhta hai, one who is able to visualize through his wisdom eyes, finds that Sabbe Sankhara Anicchati. Every momentum that we are getting in this life, upon ourselves or on others, they are all ephemeral. So this sutra, India taught to the entire world. So these are some of the perennial wisdom sutra of leadership I felt I should share with my students especially. So on this occasion, I welcome, we all welcome with our open heart and great enthusiasm through our Honorable Governor, through R.N. Ravi ji. Thank you, sir, for coming here and taking all troubles to be with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom. We now request our director to felicitate our Honorable Governor with bouquet, Honnade and Shrifal as a token of gratitude. Thank you, sir.
Now, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed Chief Guest, Thiru R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu. Sir did his post-graduation in physics in 1974. After a brief stint in journalism, he cleared the coveted civil services examination and joined the Indian Police Service in 1976, where he was assigned to the Kerala Cadre. He served in Kerala in various capacities, including districts, for over a decade and then in different parts of the country in various roles. While serving in the Central Bureau of Investigation, he led several anti-corruption crusades against the organized criminal gangs, including the mining mafias in the country. While in the Intelligence Bureau, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, Sir, the premier intelligence agency of the country, he served largely in theatres of insurgencies and violence, including in Jammu and Kashmir, the Northeast and the Maoist-infected regions. He also specialized in the dynamics of human migration in South Asia and worked extensively on the political sociology of border population. He has played crucial roles in conflict resolutions in areas affected with ethnic insurgencies and brought several armed rebel groups into peace. He has been the architect of India's international cooperation in counter-terrorism and intelligence sharing. Sir, it is an honor to have you here with us today. I welcome you to address the audience.
Respected Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh, Director, IIM, Dr. Sravanam P, Chairperson, Corporate Relations, faculty members, leaders of industries, distinguished invitees, my dear students, friends from the media, gracious ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam, Namaskar. To be with the bright minds of this country, perhaps the best among the best in the world, young, looking forward to an adventurous future, bubbling with energy to do things hitherto not done before, and building this great country. Be with such people is a matter of pride. It's a privilege which I usually don't let go by. So when the director IIM, Dr. P.K. Singh, came and invited me some time back, I immediately checked the calendar and said, yes, I am coming. Because nothing inspires me more than meeting and listening to our young people, listening to their aspirations, also their anxieties, their dreams, and at times also their frustrations. That helps me in understanding where we are heading to. Because the fact is there is a generation gap between me and you all. So to get to know. Friends, we know that Our country is experiencing revolutionary transformations. Transformations at the speed and scale not known before. It is palpable in the air, you can feel it. The country, which until recently, few years back, was at the margin of world affairs, embroiled in the problems within and ignored from without, today it is at the center and is moving towards the center of the stage, the global stage. All these transformations that are happening today, this gives us the confidence that we will be able to fulfill our resolve to meet the nation's destiny, that in the next 34 years, by the time the country would be celebrating centenary of independence, India would be a fully developed country, a self-reliant country, a country which would be able to be a decisive force for the good of the world, the good of the humanity. It's not far off. It's something that you all, my young friends, in the next 2.5 decades, when you will be at the helm of affairs wherever you be, of course some of you would be even before that, you take a pause and answer a question that I am posing it today before you. And the question is that each one of you will answer for yourself, what did I do for this country to make it great, make it fulfill its destiny? Friends, today you have a day-long, very, very important conclave. Several experienced and accomplished business leaders will be sharing with you their experience and insight. As I was told, I heard how to navigate through the uncertain time. Well, I must confess, I am not a person from the world of business, but nearly half a century of experience in public life has taught me some lessons which I may like to share with you. You know, I am told the theme of the conclave today is leadership in an age of disruption. Disruptions rarely a disruption is a pure accident. It's rarely a pure accident. Invariably, any disruption, it casts its shadow, howsoever faint that shadow may be, but it is visible to a discerning eye. A disruption, howsoever its footsteps, howsoever subtle it may be, it is audible to a discerning ear. The question is, are you alert enough to see and listen to that shadow and the footsteps? If you are, you don't get overwhelmed by disruption. Disruption doesn't overawe you. In fact, you are prepared for it. And then, instead of disruption overawing you or riding over you, you are able to steer its course. You are able to ride over it. Now, I'm sure you have numerous examples, illustrations, and experienced leaders of the business will share those experiences with you, and your faculty must have shared those with you already. But if you look at some examples, one example that comes to my mind very prominently is what happened when the Cold War began and the competition between US and USSR. US, United States of America, having established its superiority, military superiority over the world by demonstrating through detonating the nuclear weapons, it has established the military superiority. But the leaders of the United States of America knew that USSR would not be sitting idle. Knowledge is not a franchisee of any one particular set of people. Soviet would be able to develop their nuclear capacity. And then what? Knowing it that one time, sooner than later, their rivals would be having this capacity, they began working on next. What next? And the next that they did, what they call the first offset. Offsetting the danger, offsetting the change, offsetting the disruption. They built high-speed bombers and missiles to deliver the bomb to the enemy destination before the enemy could deliver it. So even when the USSR got the bomb, Americans developed the capacity to deliver the bomb faster than the Soviets, and that maintained the lead. Having maintained the lead, they realized that this knowledge too would not be with them forever. Russians would get it, Soviets would get it. So they started working on the next before the Russians got it. That's what they did. And what they called second offset. They developed ICT, Information Communication Technology, that is instant, shooter to sensor, instant delay. You have the faster bomber, you have long distance missiles, but I have something which can instantaneously do it, developing the ICT technology. So they maintained the lead. Again, the same logic. They knew that it is not going to be there with them for long. And they began working on what they call the third offset. Okay? You will have it, but we'll have something else. And then they started working on unmanned platforms, unmanned devices. Fight will be not by humans, not with boot on the ground, but by machines. And this way, they kept keeping themselves what we usually call ahead of the curve. So, how we are prepared, how discernible we are to the coming change, coming disruption. If we are prepared, nothing to worry. You can turn it to your advantage rather than a cause of worry. It can be a cause of celebration. And you know, smart leaders, they do that. Smart leaders are able to see and don't wait for the change to happen, but they are prepared to meet the change and shape the change. But we have another set of leaders who are great leaders, not just smart leaders. And the great leaders are invariably the disruptors. They are the one who bring about the disruption. And if you can think of the modern time, in the modern time, in the world, who is the greatest creative disruptor? You know it. The greatest creative disruptor of the modern time is our present places unconnected. Sit together like a big boss. Sit together like a big boss. Depending on the resources, the kitty, the size of the kitty. Depending on the resources, the kitty, the size of the kitty. They will say, okay, X amount of money is allocated to education. This X amount, Y amount is to health. And constrained by the resources, progress will begin, the development will begin. We started building schools, building colleges, building hospitals, building roads. But we always remain behind. And you all know, as saying attributed to Albert Einstein, that if you keep repeating the same thing and expecting a different result is the sign of insanity. What is it? Problem cannot be addressed by this. There has to be alternative approach. And the leadership came with an alternative approach. And the alternative approach was, don't address the problem piecemeal, incrementally, address the problem holistically. Confront, catch the bull by the horn. Be it health, be it education, be it building home for the homeless, be it building road, be it power generation, holistic. And this idea to address the problem holistically, it came from a different perspective of the nation. What this country is. What is India? Is it what the British told us, that is a bunch of geographies? At the time when the British were living, and they were leaving behind about 600 independent countries within India, and there were concerns some concerns were expressed among some people in Britain that will this India survive? And then Winston Churchill, who hated India, said, why do you want? India is a geographic expression like equator. Cut it into 1,000 pieces, it remains a part of the equator, that's nothing else. We continue looking at this country as a geography. We kept looking at this country in terms of regions, in terms of languages, in terms of even ethnicity and races. We kept looking at the diversity of the country, which is our strength, which is the beauty of this country, in terms of differences. This was a colonial perspective. And with that perspective, we began addressing the problem of the country, and that led to a lot of imbalances, regional imbalances, south versus north, east versus west. And even in areas which were developed regions, there were sub-regional imbalances. And that is why in a developed states, also we have pockets of dire poverty. It was a Darwinian model of development. It was a development based on a perspective of a country as a geography. It was that sense of geography that when the Chinese occupied a large part of our territory, and when Pakistani captured a part of Jammu and Kashmir, when Chinese captured, and when India was angry and anger was expressed in the parliament, the then Prime Minister said, that rocky desert, not a blade of grass grows there. To mitigate our sense of hurt, the sense of loss. Okay, we have lost it, but nothing much to worry about, that area is not productive. Looking this country in terms of geography, as a territory, when you look at the country as a territory, territory is transactional. You can buy and sell. This country is not a geography, is not a territory. This country is a family. This family which has emerged over several thousand years through culture and civilizational evolution. That is why when something happens in one part of the country, the other part feels the pain. When in 1905, when the British partitioned Bengal, communal partition the day, uprising was in Tamil Nadu. People here took up, some people took up arms, some people came out in the street. Great people. V.O. Chidambaram Pillai, Mahakavi, Bharat, numerous. At the time one could ask, it was the Madras presidency, that was Bengal. And partition of Bengal, why should people of Tamil Nadu get upset about it? But they did. They did, the whole country felt it. And the result was, a few years later they had to undo the partition. This country as a frame, look at it as a frame. And when you look at it as a family, you cannot say that if I have certain numbers in my family members, someone is sick, I will take only the health care of a few, not others. Some members of my family can remain illiterate, I will educate a few. When you look at this country as a family, the problem of one becomes the problem of all. And so the problems have to be addressed holistically, comprehensively. And that is how we started, addressing all these problems as if the problem is of the entire nation, not suffering the barrier of 5-year or 2-year or 10-year plan. At the time, many people thought it would take a long time. Who the hell are you? How can you see that do you think you will be there beyond 5 years? The question is this 5-year vision. The 5-year vision that my country had to do it, it is such a narrow political vision. It's a power-centric vision. It's not a vision for the welfare of the country. In fact, you must have heard in your leadership courses a great person, Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew, who transformed the fishing hamlet into the world-class city, Singapore. A great, keen observer of India. And at the time when the entire Southeast Asia was getting liberated, all these countries were looking at India with great expectation, how India would be, because India had the heft, potential heft. But Lee Kuan Yew, who visited India time and again, he was disappointed. He said, no, India cannot go. And he expressed it publicly. After emergency, when he met the then Prime Minister, during emergency in fact, and he advised, Mr. Prime Minister, Madam Prime Minister, your country, you are a bold leader. A person who can, a leader who can impose emergency on such a large country has to have the guts. Now, to display that guts in your economic transformation. Because your country, all of you have been spending 1 rupee while earning 50 paise. Is it sustainable? It is not sustainable. Please, change it. And then he got a response, no, in India it is not possible. India can be governed only this way. And then he said, if such a bold leader cannot transform, cannot have the courage to take a bold decision, there is no future. He says, India may be a military power, but India shall never be an economic power. That was a verdict, a forecast that Lee Kuan Yew did about it. Because we were all constrained by the narrow vision. 5 years. 5 years. Not a long-term vision. We all knew that we had a big problem in our country. And problem was leakage, corruption. There is a Prime Minister on record having said that for every 1 rupee intended for the beneficiary, the beneficiary gets only 15 paise. 85 paise are lost, are leaked out in corruption. Now, if this corruption could be plucked, imagine, it would have a wonderful result. So what the leadership did? Digital India. At the time, people were not very serious about it. People thought that how could a person in a remote village, illiterate person, could handle a digital device and could be digitally literate. But the Digital India initiative and every household to have a bank account, Jan Dhan bank account. And today you might have read in the newspaper that our country, we have crossed over 500 million accounts. Every household has at least one bank account. And of course, good news is that 56% of them are female, women accounts. There they come to holders. Now, this Jan Dhan account and digital did the magic transformation. Today people don't talk about leakage of direct benefits. When direct benefit transfer happens, it happens on a button and it reaches the beneficiary. When millions and millions of farmers they get their intended benefit, at that particular time everyone gets in the bank account. The problem of leakage was addressed. How? Thinking it differently. If you think in the same conventional mode, using the bureaucracy, using the same instrument of governance and try to deliver goods and eradicate poverty, it will not be eradicated. Poverty has to address wholesomely, comprehensively and through instruments other than conventional instruments. And then this jam trinity, as we call it today, Jan Dhan accounts, Aadhaar and mobile. It is doing the wonders. Today, some weeks back we might have read the report that in the last less than 1 decade, over 140 million people have been pulled out of poverty. Over 150 is a conservative estimate. It's amazing. It happened by a creative disruptor who thought that no, this country cannot be governed, cannot be led forward the way it had been before. And this country deserves a better destiny. It thought, it created a disruption. Today, we all know that in the digital financial transaction, every day India is the largest. 45% of the digital financial transactions that happens in this country In the world, it happens in India. We were nowhere. We are the leader. Believing in the power of the people, the genius of the people. Earlier we had a patron-client relationship. Government, everyone who looked to government for delivery. Government was the sole proprietor of change or development. They used to look upon the private sector's private initiative with suspicion. Political narrative used to be, political narrative of the so-called socialism was hostile to private wealth creators, knowing fully well that you need wealth for the growth, and the government alone could not do that. That paradigm changed. That paradigm was broken. Believe in the power of the people. Ask the youth of your country, entrepreneurs of your country. Let their talent, let their strength, let their potential blossom. Create, remove the hurdles as much as you can. Give them an opportunity. And look where we are today. In the field of a startup, till about a decade back, we were nowhere. Not even 400 startup in the whole country. Today we are over 125,000 startups, and more than 110 of them are unicorn. Who did it? Did government do it? It was done by young men and women like you. They did it. And that is how this country is built. This is how from the 10th to 5th economy in the world we have reached, and we are shortly going to, within a few years, we will be among the top 3. We have no doubt about it. By harnessing the power of the youth, the people. The government, we all talked about minimum government, maximum governance, but it didn't happen. This fundamental disruption is brought about. Some months back, I felicitated a high school student. I felicitate so many of them, but just one illustration I'm just citing to you. A high school student from a rural village of Tamil Nadu. She built a solar powered iron cart. You know, we go in towns, cities, streets, you have people doing the ironing. They do it coal based. And there are lakhs and lakhs of such mobile on the cart. They come and do this burning iron, they do the iron. And they burning coal, they do the iron. This school girl of class 10, she got an idea. She got a question in her mind and found the solution. Can't they build a solar power? That way, millions tons of coal also will be saved, and there will be less pollution in the world. Plus, energy efficient work. She created, she designed, and she sent the design to the center in Ahmedabad, where they encouraged such people. They appreciated it, they called her together, they created the prototype, a solar car produced without burning coal. You can do the ironing even in the night with the light also operating on the solar power. This is done by a class 10 student today. I felicitated some young kids from the rural areas. We have an NGO here. It came up just a few years back. Space Kids. We know that